that guy.
He's definitely ready to go.
Get ready to go.
All right. Let's talk a little Edgerrin Cooper before we wrap up. That sound good, man?
Yes, sir.
All right. Couple of tweets came down the pike here. Well, the first one of them I sent, but this one caught my attention. This was from PFF, and PFF Packers actually retweeted it. The top 32 linebackers going into the 2025 NFL season per Mason Cameron. Here is the top 10 list. So these are your stack backers, your top 10 stack backers in the entire league, according to Mason Cameron. Number 1, Fred Warner. Number 2, Zach Bond. Number 3, Bobby Wagner. Can we just say this for a second, Tim?
Yeah,
we were spot on wanting Bobby Wagner, were we not?
For sure. For sure.
We caught hell over that. He's 73 years old. That dude went out there and balled again, man.
Yep.
So, yeah. Number 4, Roquan Smith, after the Bears, of course. It just took him getting out of Chicago. All of a sudden, he's a better football player. Funny how that works. Dre Greenlaw, number 5, and he's with Denver now. Bobby Okereke, I think I'm saying that right, with the New York Giants is number 6. Devin Lloyd with the Jaguars, number 7. Number 8, Jack Campbell with the Lions. Number 9, our very own Edgerrin Cooper with the Green Bay Packers. Dude is a dog. And number 10 with the Bears, TJ Edwards. So Edgerrin Cooper in the 9 spot, I think if he continues at the pace he kind of set last year, Tim, you're going to see him climb into the top 5 this year. I think Dre Greenlaw's best football is probably behind him. He'll still be a good linebacker, don't get me wrong. Bobby Wagner's got to fall off sooner or later, right?
Yeah. I'll believe it when I see it, though.
Right. Coach Lynn says Cooper better than all of them. Hey.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we're going to watch a little tape here in a second. We're going to pull up 3 clips of his 3 sacks last year. It's hard for me to disagree with him, Tim. Like, you put his tape side by side with half of these guys, and you're going to go, yeah, I'm taking 56. That dude, he jumps off the tape, absolutely jumps off the tape. So I'm with you, Coach Lynn. I think at the end of this year, if he stays healthy and takes that next step, I think you're going to see him in the top 5. And another guy, just like Tucker Kraft, just a great attitude. Plays just like Ray Nitschke, mean as hell on Sunday, but just an absolute stud of a teammate and player that you want to coach off the field.
I remember just reporting back from camp last year when he was not able to go and, couldn't even do any of the stretching or anything with the team. He was just standing there. And that's tough. It's got to be tough for a rookie who's like trying to get out there, right? And he was in Quay Walker's hip pocket every day of camp. Those 2 guys were like attached at the hip. And you could just see, him trying to absorb as much information as he could, even though he couldn't be on the field. And we saw an extended period of time where we didn't see reps from him at all. And lo and behold, the minute his number's called, Edgerrin Cooper comes out of nowhere and just kind of takes the NFL world by storm in his rookie season. And I think a lot of that is attributed to what you're saying about him is that, as a player, when he's healthy on the field, he's a monster. But this is a guy that even if, maybe you need to rotate someone in or, maybe it's your time to sit out, he's not going to pout. He's going to be engaged. Yep. He's always learning. And when you combine that with the physical freak that he is, I mean, you could be right, Clay. I think we could be looking at a top 5 spot for him by the end of this year. And, by the end of that kid's career, we could be talking Canton. You never know. I hate to get ahead of my skis a little bit, but
bro,
I'm starting to get that, that kind of vibe,
Dude, I'm as skeptical as anyone. You'll hear me say, all right, guys, it's early. You heard me say it about Tucker. Tucker is tracking to be a great tight end, but things happen. You got to be realistic in that aspect. But the stuff that I seen Edgerrin Cooper do last year, just from a Green Bay Packer fan standpoint, being a fan since 2002, 2003, somewhere around that range, I have never seen them bring in a linebacker, a stack backer that plays the way Edgerrin Cooper does. Like, it was last year I went, this is different. This is way different.
I'm a long way from Blake Martinez, right?
Yes, that's correct. And again, you had some good ones, Tim. I remember Nick Barnett, solid linebacker. A.J. Hawk, one of my favorite players in the history of the Packers. I love the way A.J. Hawk played the game. I think he was way underrated by Packer fans, me personally. Team captain year in and year out, Super Bowl champion, won a national title in college. You would have to drag him off the field. You remember the game that I was telling you about? I went to Monday Night Football, that Aaron Rodgers first touchdown pass. That game, talking to that same gentleman in the stands, that was sitting next to me, we had a conversation about A.J. Hawk before that. He was playing with a shoulder harness that game. They strapped him into a shoulder harness so he wouldn't miss that game. And I remember him running Adrian Peterson down in that game. And people that said he was slow don't know what the hell they were talking about. Ran Adrian Peterson down, and that guy was like, I'm so glad he's in the lineup tonight. And we had a conversation about, he's actually in a shoulder harness. Like, dude was just so freaking tough. But Edgerrin Cooper, A.J. Hawk, no match for what I seen Edgerrin Cooper do last year. I'm just telling you. It wasn't even close. Like, if you were to put their tape side by side and say which one's a top 5 pick, I would have said Edgerrin Cooper's a top 5 pick over A.J. And I love A.J. I think A.J., like I said, is underrated. So he needs to be
I think they're most alike in the FBI category, right? Like A.J. Hawk was one of them guys too. He knew what you were doing, man. You weren't gonna fool him at all.
And in that 34 defense too, when you were playing the run, he would stick his nose in there against those guards, man. He talks about it too. I've heard him talking about the McAfee. They're like, when you see a guard pulling and I've got to cut that off or they're gonna gain a hat. All right, here we go. Let me just go bury my skull into a 330-pound offensive lineman's chest, right?
Yep.
That's A.J. Hawk. So, I'm really excited to see Edgerrin Cooper. And what Dave says here, Dave MX6 Garcia says, Quay and Edge was like peas and carrots. Smiley face. Quay played better in that 2 or 3 game stretch before he hurt his ankle. I know there was one game in particular was like, it just clicked. It clicked. Now, it's one game, but it clicked. If they come out this year and take a step together, look out because you got 2 physical freaks. I mean, it's going to be exciting for sure. So let's go to a little bit of tape, Tim. That sound good?
Yes, sir.
These are the 3 sacks that Edgerrin Cooper had last year. I think he had 3.5, and I just got the 3 full sacks here. But let's just pull it up here on my X account. This was a lot of fun to watch. I just said year 2 going to be wild for Edgerrin Cooper.
I remember this one already. Let's go. Oh, yes.
Look at him right here playing Joker, Tim, right?
Love it.
Playing Joker, lined up in a 0 tech. And now watch what he does here. He's not going to blitz the quarterback right off the bat. Look at the motion. He's not even deterred right there. That's what you call a sugar spy, right? You're going to sugar the center like you're going to blitz, and then you're going to hop back out and just kind of play underneath, and now he's going to scrape, right? So look at LVN. LVN catches a lot of heat all the time. Look at LVN out here, wide 9, right? He's going to loop over, and then Edgerrin Cooper is going to scrape off of him, right? So he's showing a touch spy. Watch him jab step. LVN going to clear it out for him, hit the guard in the rib cage there too, right? Take the tackle with him.
And take the tackle with you, exactly.
Matt Stafford's like, who the hell is this joker, right? And look at Edge just finished, man. Dude, it does not get any better than that. I mean, that tackle too. Look at the wingspan. Watch the wingspan here. Get you some. He's a dog, dude.
Take a look at Quay on that play too.
Mm-hmm. Let me go slow motion for us, then. We'll make it a little bit easier.
It's kind of an example of what we were just talking about. Like, this is one of the rare times we saw them on the field together. Look at how comfortable Quay is over there, staying home in his assignment. It's like you got to feel like Quay Walker feels like having a guy like Edge Cooper out there next to him. It's just like a certain weight off of his shoulders and the ability to play a little bit more free, I think, when Cooper's on the field.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. So, again, there's a nice sack of Matt Stafford. Tried to hit him with that spin move. Coop wasn't having it. All right, next play. Here's another sack from Edgerrin Cooper. This is against Seattle. So, you see they're both mugging, right? This is what you call a double mug look, all right, double A-gap mug. You got Quay here, it looks like. That's 7, right? And then you got Edgerrin Cooper there. So, they're both showing blitz. Let's see if they actually blitz or not. There might be a double loop right here in the middle with both backers blitzing. Let's watch it. Slow motion. Nope, Quay's belling. Now look at Edgerrin. That was actually designed. Edgerrin, what he was doing.
That was like a stunt almost.
It was. Edgerrin Cooper's job right here is to take this offensive lineman and wash him out so Kenny can loop off of him. So it's kind of the opposite of a straight blitz. But what's crazy is he does that and then still fights through the block, and he's the guy who hits home.
Almost causing a fumble there, too. Gino almost dropped that ball. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He almost popped it out there at the end. That was Coop punching at it right there. See it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Go ahead and rake at the ball as you're tackling the ball carrier, right?
I love it.
Again, let's watch it one more time. And it's, again, firing in, washing the guard out, and then still finishing the play. And you see Kenny throw his hand up. He's like, damn, look at Coop take over. Love it, man. All right.
Oh,
this is probably my
favorite.
Yeah, you know what's coming here, Tim.
We're sorry, Fabio, but we had to show it.
Yeah, got to show it. So you got our boy Edgerrin Cooper right here standing up, right? He's kind of over the guard, but he's off. He's playing stack backer, but he's actually firing, right? So I love how he's trying to disguise it there. Now he's going to creep, and let's see what the play call is here. So it looks like they're twisting, right? It looks like Kenny's going to twist off of him maybe. Yep, they were trying to twist. They did a pretty good job picking it up, but look at Coop just fight through, and then, of course, smacking the ball out. Again, when you see this when you see it in real time, you don't really think it's almost like it was an accident. He punched the ball out. That's not the case.
No.
Watch him go after this football. Watch his left hand. Punch it out.
Boom. Yep.
And then, of course, you got the hip check from Devontae Wyatt right here. Bang, get out of the way, big boy.
Yeah. You know why? Because Devontae Wyatt was tired of being held. Look at the right side of your screen from the snap. Hold the whole way.
Look at this hip check.
Get off me, little man.
That's a grown ass
little man. That's a grown man. That's a wow. Was that a guard that he just shoved to the ground?
Yeah. Either the guard or the center. Whoever it was, I guarantee he's over 300 pounds, and he just hip checked the hell out of him and still got on the ball. Oh, just a great play.
You see Rashawn pull up at the end, like, nope, Devontae's got it. Let him get the ball. I'm not twisting an ankle over this.
So now the question is, do we use Edgerrin Cooper like this more often? You know, because, you know, what I love about it, Tim, we were talking about Colin Oliver, right, last night. And that's another piece you can bring in. It's going to take him a while to get acclimated to the system and everything that we always talk about. But how do you want to utilize Edgerrin Cooper? You know, everything's on the table. You can bring him on those blitzes. You can drop him into coverage. You know, that same game, he covered down the seam on Christian Kirk and actually put the ball up in a Tampa 2 call where he had mid-zone responsibilities. They put speed to 3 with Christian Kirk. He flips his hips, runs stride by stride with Christian Kirk, breaks the play up, and actually hurts Christian Kirk. Not that he was trying to, but hurt him on the play, knocking the ball out at the last second. That's him covering a receiver down the seam. He can do that. He can attack the flat. He can run those twist blitzes in the middle with the double A gap look. He can play joker. Yeah. You could probably rush him off the edge if you wanted to.
That's my answer, Clayton. That's how I want to see him utilized. I want teams to not know what the hell's going to happen when he's on the field. You know, like Mike Fire, I don't care. Put him at the mic. Send him right up the gap, right up the middle. Yeah. Send him off the edge. Put him in the slot. Let him cover. I don't care. Like, the guy's just so versatile. I think the more ways we use him, the better. Hopefully not putting too much on a young player's plate, but I think the guy can handle it personally.
Yeah. No, I mean, he proved last year he could, you know. It's going to be exciting, man. So, again, when you look at the linebacker room, we'll end with this. I just want to take a quick glance, and we need to get this updated. It might be a little out of date, but it should be fairly accurate. This is from Our Lads. Look at the Will and the Mike backer here, okay? So you got Quay starting as the Will. They got Edgerrin Cooper as the Mike. Now, again, those are very, very interchangeable. This is not 1997 anymore. Well, the Will and the Mike are very, very interchangeable in a nickel 4-2-5 in 2025. So you got Quay and Edgerrin Cooper as your starting backers. Then you got Isaiah McDuffie and Tyron Hopper. Then Isaiah Simmons and Christian Welch, right? They've got Colin Oliver listed as an edge here, and that may very well be where they play him at. But if you look at the depth of the linebacker position, Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, Tyron Hopper, those all 4 are going to make the roster. There's no way they don't unless they end up on IR or a PUP or something.
And I don't see them signing Isaiah Simmons not to keep him around.
Right. And Christian Welch probably on the bubble. But if you decide to only carry 5 linebackers as opposed to 6, if you decide to only carry 5, then it'll probably be Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, Tyron Hopper, and Isaiah Simmons. Colin Oliver will make the roster as an edge, right? If you decide – that's the beautiful thing about Colin Oliver, and it's the reason I wanted to look at this depth chart, Tim, is Colin Oliver is so freaking valuable to this team that he can play edge defender or stack backer if they see him as a stack, right? That allows you to take one less edge to keep one less edge defender if you need to. Now let's look at the edge defender room, right? Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Kingsley Enagbare, Baron Sorrell, Brenton Cox Jr. I feel like all 5 of those are a shoe-in to make the roster.
Yeah,
Oliver.
Mosby's on the bubble.
Yeah, Mosby's definitely going to the practice squad, in my opinion, unless an injury happens. Yeah, Oliver's going to make the roster. He's a 5th-round pick, right? Yep. I mean, he would have to really bust out in camp in a bad way to not make the roster. So it's going to be your linebacker room got better with the addition of Isaiah Simmons and Colin Oliver. And again, people look at Isaiah Simmons like he's a bust, and I don't see him in the same light as the people that really, really like Isaiah Simmons. But he's only a bust because he was the number 8 overall pick. Right. If you had drafted him in the 3rd round, people would be talking about how he was a great 3rd-round pick. You know what I mean, Tim?
Yep.
So, and he's a special teams ace, too, it looked like last year. I think he graded out in the 80s, according to PFF, maybe even the 90s in special teams. So I'm excited about the linebacker room, man. I think we got better. I really do.
I do, too. Would have liked to see Eric Wilson stick around, but we knew what was going on with that. And I like, looking back on it, I like the McDuffie signing. It keeps you it's not a huge turnover. You've got some, familiar faces there. And, say what you want about Zay McDuffie, man. I love the way the guy plays football. I really do. He's got a few things in his game that he's still working on as he's, coming into his own still a relatively young guy. Got some years ahead of him. So I think that was a clutch move, keeping him in that linebacker room with, this young talent that we have. You need guys like that when you've got, young freaks like Edgerrin Cooper and stuff. So, right. And hey, Tyron Hopper, gosh, I hope we get to see a little bit more of him this year. I thought he showed a little bit of flashes last year, but we didn't get to see much of him. So hopefully he takes a step as well.
Yeah, I apologize, Jerry. I missed your super chat. I don't know how long it's been sitting there. It looks like a couple minutes. Jerry in the chat says, can't wait to see these guys going after Caleb Williams. Amen to that. Amen to that. If you guys remember in college too, Tim, Evan Williams caused absolute chaos on Caleb Williams when Oregon played
USC
there. I mean, I think he forced maybe 2 fumbles with him. He was just all over Caleb Williams. If Caleb Williams wants to play that little scramble game, Edgerrin Cooper's the dude you want on him. Now, they got matched up a couple of times last year, and it was early in the season. I remember this, and Coop took a bad angle. And And we didn't even talk about the fact that Cooper's put on 20 pounds.
Yep.
Dude's going to be a dog. And
Absolutely.
Again, when you identify what a Mike Backer is, and Jerry, thank you so much for the super chat. When you identify what a Mike Backer is, a gap destroyer, right? He's the general of the defense. If they see him as a true Mike, he's got to be able to know the checks, know the calls, play sideline to sideline, but he's also a gap destroyer. That's what we just seen on that tape. So I think he got it there. Quay, to me, doesn't fit gap destroyer as well as Edgerrin Cooper.
That's your touch spy.
Yeah. He screams Will Backer. You know what I mean? He really does. And that play that we showed, that's how that would have lined up there too, was like he was kind of playing the flat, right? Playing the curl flat while Edgerrin Cooper blitzed. And Quay can blitz too. His pressure percentage is really good, if I remember correctly.
That's why I like those two kind of as a Batman and Robin, right? Like kind of like a tag team, because you got to think, you're looking at those stack backers as a quarterback and you're wondering which one is going to blitz. And it might be both. It might be none. They can both drop into coverage. They can both, blitz off the edge, blitz up the middle. It's going to be fun to watch this linebacking core. It really is.
Definitely. All right. That's it, gang. We're going to get out of here. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. This was a lot of fun. Want to give a special shout out to the Super Chats, United Bates, Dan Mullen, Clint the Armchair Quarterback, and Jerry with the Super Chats. Thank you all so much for supporting what we do here. Let's give a shout out to the MVP tonight over in our rankings on YouTube. And it looks like Holmes MD won, too old for this, United Bates, Ed Madden, and Clint Cosgrove all tied at 150 XP tonight. Chuck Jagger's coming in there next at 125. Appreciate y'all being very vocal in the chat and being a part of the show tonight. Y'all were awesome. Tim, you got anything else, bud? Anything at all?
Just remind them about our charity of the month.
That's right.
givebutter.com/KRPSJ5. If you want to make a dono, get involved with my Autism Connection and support for autistic adults. So this is your chance to win an autographed Dorsey Levens jersey. This is pretty cool, Clay. Good giveaway.
Absolutely. If you go to my Twitter account at Packers_access, click on that link that Tim has at the bottom there. Just whatever you donate, for every $5 donated, your name will get entered into the contest one time. And at the end of June, so it's going to run all through June, we're going to spin that wheel with everybody's name on it that donated and give away this awesome autographed Dorsey Levens jersey. So I appreciate you bringing that up. It's an awesome cause. Again, my Autism Connection, all our friends over there, appreciate y'all partnering up with us and allowing us to make a little bit of a difference in this crazy world. And also the best way to support this show, if you like this content, you say, man, I don't want this to leave. I want it to stick around. I really enjoy this. You can join our Patreon community. People ask all the time, hey man, do you got a Venmo? Do you got a PayPal? The best way to support what we do is just join our Patreon community. $3 is all it costs. Patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. You get extra exclusive content. You also get access to the chats, questions for the show, just like the super chats, all that good stuff. So if you want to join, you can also scan the QR code in the upper right as well. So Tim, thank you for your time, bud. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me as always, man. Be back tomorrow.
All right, man. Everybody have a great night. As always, let's go out and